how does the Liberal Party get itself to a position that between now and when the federal election, if people have moved away from the Labor Party in the numbers in which we all seem, that they don't go on the long road around, that either one or two is for the alternative government? Because, again, just all of our knowledge of how this works is that if there's a Melbourne Cup field of anyone but a Liberal that's running, they all end up preferencing each other, meaning the Liberals aren't going to go anywhere. Today, Clive Palmer failed to be able to re-register the United Australia Party, which means one of two high-profile national parties to the right, which would have delivered preferences, as they did in 19, as they didn't in 22, meaning there's a lot of work there when it comes to One Nation, because outside of that, no one's going to be preferencing the Libs. Well,
that's not necessarily so. You can get some independents who are right-wing candidates as well.
Sure.
But I just have a memory of the 1990 election. Hawke was riding high, Peacock was the leader, and Andrew Peacock won 9 seats in Victoria. Not one in New South Wales, not one, but 9 in Victoria. So there are plenty of examples where things occur, where they change. And I think there is a momentum that is swung behind Peter Dutton. They are looking for something else. Now, he's got time to roll out whatever the pitch will be for the actual election. He's not going to do it prematurely, but you can bet the work's been going on.
But here's the thing that I wanted to talk to both of you about, which is traditionally the way an election will work is, 33-day campaign, month and a bit, right? The whole thing generally crests, weekend before at your party conference. That also means that's when you start paying for your travel, not the taxpayer. And then it all runs towards election day. How many state elections, how many federal elections? Half vote early, meaning the actual election you have to crest halfway through the campaign, meaning if you're waiting until the day that the status gun goes off to fire off your social media strategy, your radio ads, all the rest of it, guess what? It's not going to connect the way that it has in the past. So I've got to say I have a concern about both the government and the alternative government about what their message is going to be, because they're playing one out in the news, but there's a whole bunch of people who don't watch the news, aren't connected to the news. Would your advice be to both of your sides, start doing it now? Start doing it now, because if it's between now and May, you want to carpet bomb ads that people will repeat back to you, not just do it for 2 weeks when we're distracted by footy or anything else.
Well, I've got to say there's, I think, some good precedents in how the Voice was handled. Now, there was a build-up that then allowed a statement to be made by Dutton, and then the rollout happened. I suggest there'll be a similar sort of strategy.
Okay, but that was a process over months. We're now into weeks, Stephen.
No, look,
in terms
he
of the
could
government,
conceivably call it in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, so
if he goes for an April 12, he's calling it on March 10.
So Cos Samaras, who is with Redbridge, we talk to him every Sunday night, he says that the whole, these are all the things Dutton's voted against. The only ad that's out at the moment is really about locking in soft Labor voters. It's not about flipping anyone else. As a political tactician, does that fact that everyone votes 2 weeks before election day?
I think the point you're making is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
You can't have that crescendo. I mean, I remember I've sat inside the central organisation.
So have I.
Your first week, how much spend? Your second week, how much spend in ads? You cannot do that crescendo in today's world. Yeah. You need to be, as you said, peaking almost at the second week.
We've moved away from an election day to an election period.
Yes.
And that is simply the reality of it. I mean, it used to be that the big launch was only held days before election day because that was the way it could be funded, the cost of the travel and all that sort of stuff.
But I just think, but also when they're about to get after this little dirty deal, $80 million in money back from the AEC.
Those dirty Liberals.
Those dirty Liberals! They made you do it. You made me do it. All right, so look, just about interest rates. I've made the point for the past couple of nights. Look, as somebody paying off a mortgage, halve the damn things, right? Please, please, please. But clearly the pump priming of the Canberra press is this is the moment, this is the circuit breaker. The second it goes down by 0.25%, then everyone floods towards the government. I repeat all those stats that I said before. If you've had to find between $14,000 and $38,000 extra to pay off your mortgage since the start of the government, No one's cuddling anyone at $150 off a month.
No, they're not. But nonetheless, they'll be hoping, because they'll think this will be a momentum that'll start, that they think there's more to come. And they've their policies and their situation has been so bad that anything that comes their way, they'll be thinking is, oh, we can grab onto that and go. But as for Chalmers, look, I'm sorry, Stephen, to say it, but the snake charmer, it's all fantasy, it's all illusion.
Correct.
The lips flap and nothing happens. I mean, it just beggars belief.
I mean, Jim's a friend of mine. Let me be very clear about this. But
be nice
he's
to him,
got the
because
prospect. He's got the prospect of possibly a third surplus.
Maybe.
So that's a maybe. But that's a positive.
Yes.
maybe.
The interest rate cut will be a small down payment.
Yeah.
But I stress the word small down payment.
Yeah, correct.
And so what that does allow, though, is, I think Bronwyn said, maybe a bit of momentum to build behind the economic story. And I think at the moment where Dutton is weakest is on an economic story.
Well, I don't agree with that.
It's a bit of a blank space.
No. His question: are you better off?
The simple.
Are you better off? It's a great line. It's absolutely important.
Yeah, but to my point, where is that in the advertising now? Like, it doesn't cost any money. And I've been watching this. I'm going to do a thing next week, right? Which is having a look at what all the different local MPs are doing and how they get their message out, right? There's a lot of really bad street theatre from Labor MPs, but we've saved it all, so don't bother deleting it, okay? We've already got it on the server. There's a bunch of Liberals sort of sitting at a desk responding to things, but how hard is it to get a kid Canva and to write on a screen, insert electorate, your has gone up by, has gone up by, has gone up by? Why aren't they doing that?
That one I can't answer, because I think it's a damn good idea.
Yeah, to me, if you were running in the opposition, it's this thing, you got your core flutes, here's the deal. Stop showing me your face. Just say, in the seat of insert, you've had to pay this, and then see what happens, all right? Stephen's agreeing, but desperately not trying to move at all, because if he moves a muscle, then he knows the life membership is in danger. I've got 45 seconds, but I simply maybe have to go yes, no here. I think we get an exemption from Trump eventually. The things don't kick in till March, and he had a 40-minute call. If he isn't into us, he doesn't do the 40-minute call. I think we're getting one. What do you reckon?
I hope we are, because it's in the national interest, but I'm not convinced.
Stephen?
Yeah, look, I think it will be drawn out. He's clearly shown in dealing with Trudeau. He's helped destroy Trudeau. He's been chasing Starmer. He's gone hard there. He doesn't mind interfering in other countries' political elections. So I think he will draw it out. I think ultimately we should get one, but I think he'll draw it out, possibly past the election. Yeah,
I've got to say, Navarro did worry me ever so slightly today, where I thought, oh, hang on, if he's the last man in the room,
well...
Well, he wouldn't be making that statement without someone knowing he was going to make it.
Correct. All right, they're screaming at me because Megan Kelly is next. Thank you very much. All the best. Hopefully get better, and we look forward to seeing you again in the Man Cave ASAP.